Would you like to make your first million? And today we have Alec Neu with us, which is the director of New Real Estate Group. And he's a multifamily real estate investment professional with over 500 million in transaction experience working across both large scale brokerage and boutique development. He's a director at Seacrest Advisors LLC. He co-led the Friends Family Office Multifamily Investment Sales practice in Florida, where he advised private capital clients on acquisition, disposition, and marketing strategy across the Southeast. So, Alec, tell us, what are the 5 steps you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Great question. So I would say, Harry, step number one is going to be identifying the market of where you're looking to buy real estate properties. From there, I would say you want to go to figuring out how you're going to buy that property. And that would be really step number two is how you're figuring out how you're going to buy it, what your capital structure looks like. Step three would be how you're going to be making money from that property, what your business plan is on your purchase, because you're always making money on your purchase or on your buy. And then step number four would be obviously buying that asset, repositioning that property, fulfilling that business plan and executing that business plan of getting into the property. And then step number five, when it really comes time to say multiply the value that you created in that property, whether it's through appreciation or cash flow, it would be figuring out the execution of your exit, whether that's through a refinance, moving your capital into your next project and expanding further from there, or whether it be repositioning the property through a sale, or however it may be.
So, one out of five out of the 500 millionaires we interview in this podcast, 1 out of 5 are property millionaires. Can you tell us what is the good, the bad, and the ugly of being a property entrepreneur?
I would say any of the steps can be part of the good, the bad, or the ugly. It really comes to it down at the end of the day, executing on your business plan. If you don't have the right team around you to help you execute, whether that's on your purchase, whether that's throughout the ownership period of your property, or having a good team around you when it comes time to exit the property through a refinance or sale. It could be part of the good, the bad, or the ugly.
So, tell us about Florida. So, why you guys help people in Florida? You are so far, right? So, how come you
Yeah,
help people in Florida to do stuff? Tell me a little bit more about that.
absolutely. So I'm actually based in Indianapolis. My previous life was in Florida for about 5 years. Starting back in 2020, I worked with a lot of multifamily owners and operators, really all throughout Florida, which gave me a lot of knowledge that I've now taken back to my family's construction and development company here in Indianapolis. But what's going on here in Indianapolis is there's a ton of newfound development. Right now, the city of Indianapolis is probably the most vibrant I've seen it in the past 25 years. We've got about $28 billion of corporate investment, the investment happening all throughout the city, which is making the city of Indianapolis probably one of those meccas to invest in right now here in the Midwest. There's a ton of internal as well as out of state larger corporations that are moving campus headquarters here. A lot of employment growth is going on all throughout not only the state of Indiana, but also Indianapolis as well.
So you guys specialize in developing multifamilies, right?
Correct.
This is individual houses or buildings?
Yeah, great question, Harry. So we're building and our niche is really what's called middle market housing. So where you're seeing like large scale apartment buildings, and then you're seeing a lot of new single family home construction, which is rapidly expanding here in Indiana. We're that middle of the tranche. We're building duplexes and quadplex properties. Really, middle market housing is all about filling that void, filling that housing gap when it comes to the lack of supply, not just in Indianapolis, but really all throughout the lack of supply that you're seeing throughout the country.
Like the duplex, right? Because people can live in one and rent the other one. Is that correct? Let
Correct.
them
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yep.
You said also quadruples. Tell me, I want to know more about that one.
Yeah, we got three products that we're developing here, and selling to investors as well as holding for our projects that we're raising equity for. But there's three different models that we build. There's two duplex models, and then there's also a quadplex model. So for investors that are looking to just get into the Indianapolis market, we build a two-bedroom, two-bathroom duplex, which is priced between 325 to 375. We've got a three-bedroom, two-bathroom duplex. That one's priced between 425 to 475. And then our quadplexes, which are four two-story, two-bedroom, two and a half bathroom units. More or less looks like four townhomes, all contiguous to each other. Those are priced between 750 to 850. And given we're building and holding these properties in all the neighborhoods that we're building and selling them to investors who may be listening here on the podcast, we're looking to deliver returns anywhere between 8 to 10% back to the investors that are purchasing these.
Wow. And so again, due diligence, Alex. So how do you know which one would be in a spot that actually is going to sell fast? Because at the end of the day, my first business was in property in London. I was doing rent to rent. We were renting the houses and then renting the units individually. But I'm telling you, that was 20 years ago. You look very young to me. You were very tiny, probably back then. So property is amazing in a way that there are different strategies. So your family have a legacy of being developers, right? And now you taking the directorship of the company following your family legacy. So tell us what have been the biggest challenge and how you overcome the challenge.
Yeah, I would say the biggest challenge that's come up for us most recently has been bandwidth or roadblocks with construction. And really, what I mean by that is there's city obstacles, political obstacles that always have to be overcome when we're building, meaning we're applying for permits or we're applying for new build designs that we're building here in the city. Seemingly, something always pops up, whether it's from us being stalled to start construction or stalls that happen throughout the build, or anything of the sorts.
So why you decided property and continue the legacy of your family? You could choose anything else. Why you decided to continue? And even you left Florida, the good weather. How
I
come?
know.
To continue the family business, you should be very passionate about it.
Oh, I
So,
am.
or then your family told you had to come here. That's it. We need you to take over.
Yeah,
Tell us what the
I always wanted to go outside of call it my family shadow and move out of the state, um move away from my family to gain real world skills from management, from relationship building, from capital raising, whatever values or traits I can build upon and get better in to then go and bring back to my family's business. So it's a business I'm very passionate about. I've been around the real estate industry since I was really in diapers. My father had been investing in downtown Indianapolis now for over 25 years and started out buying up single family homes and renovating them and holding them in his own portfolio to now we're building and providing housing to the residents of Indianapolis as well as surrounding municipalities that we've now expanded into.
So tell us about the project. How long it's gonna take to? How long it takes to deliver the project? So you guys are purchasing the land and then deciding what to build on that land. How long it takes the whole process?
Yeah, the whole process from start to finish, call it from us going and buying that land to get it shovel ready so we can build that duplex or quadplex on it. On the infill sites that we're buying and selling one-off duplexes or quadplexes, it takes us about 4 to 6 months from start to finish, which is pretty quick. And then as far as the projects that we're building, now in Indianapolis and greater Indianapolis, which would be between 25 to 150 units, more or less like a subdivision of for rent housing is what it would look like. Those projects are turned around within 18 to 24 months, from buying the land to entitling and developing the land to get it build ready and then all the way through lease up. We're getting
So,
them leased out in about 24 months.
so how many units? These ones?
These are 25 to 150. So,
Wow, 150 units sounds to me like a big project, yeah? You guys
yeah,
can
those are,
you handle this? Have you done it before?
we have, yeah, we're full service. So, we've got in-house leasing, we've got in-house construction team, we've got really everything from
Wow.
start to finish.
So how many projects do you have now in the pipeline?
Right now, we've got 3 projects in the pipeline between that 25 to 150 unit project, call it, through in Indianapolis. We've got some in a city called Muncie, and then another city called Fort Wayne, where we're building and developing those. They're build to rent communities, is what they are.
So tell us what is the biggest lesson that you learned from your father?
My father,
Why do you choose real estate?
yeah, so the biggest lesson I've learned from my father is really the ability to pivot. Nothing's going to always go as planned, or nothing will ever go as planned. So having the ability to pivot and making the most of that opportunity that you've got in front of you, I would say is the biggest piece of advice or life advice. Because being an entrepreneur, being in the real estate industry, there's always obstacles at all different layers or levels that you've got to overcome to get towards your end goal. So having the ability to pivot, I would say. And then as far as my passion for real estate, it was really developed when I was a kid. I had mentioned my dad had been buying houses in the city and fixing them up. As part as of the crew that he brought in to fix up those houses, it was me and my 2 other brothers. So whether it's doing clean outs, whether it's painting walls or doing a total renovation on a kitchen or a bathroom or whatnot, we were always involved in that process from an early age.
So your other two brothers also are with the family or they move away?
Nope, they're with the family as well. So they're right here in the office with me. Got a
Oh
brother on
wow,
the
they're literally a
construction side.
family business.
Yeah, it is. So they're one of my brothers, my younger brother, he's on the construction side, and then my older brother, he's on the accounting finance side of the company.
So tell us about your past life in Florida. What you were doing in Florida and what do you learn that can be applied where you are now?
Yes, past life in Florida. I moved down there during COVID after I had graduated from college. I worked for a larger commercial brokerage for about 3.5 years and sold multifamily apartment buildings. It was in the private capital airspace, so the $5 to $25 million apartment property value is. I was working with owners and sellers to source buyers so they could sell their properties. So I sold apartment buildings along the Gulf Coast, from Sarasota down to Naples, and then also the East Coast of Florida as well. And that gave me a really good perspective when it came to talking to owners of larger apartment projects, learning from them how they got into owning that asset, what it looks like from a management perspective day in and day out, and really how they had added value to that property to get to where they are now, in owning a $5 to $25 million apartment building.
So, oh, are you raising some capital for your project right now? Can you tell us a little bit more about the numbers, timings, and statistics?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's around a $8 million project that we just raised money for. It's a 28 unit apartment community, the east or on the west side of Indianapolis. As far as general numbers, we'll typically raise through friends and family or high net worth individuals. So we're not solely sectored off just to accredited investors. But for this deal specifically, and really for all the deals that we do, we're very conservative in our approach. We like to return the investors' capital, their initial investment, through the operations of the deal, whether it's a 5 or a 10 year hold or whatever it may be. And then they'll get a profit split or an equity payout on the back end of the deal, and whether it's through a refinance or through a sale.
So, Alex, so what message do you have for the young people that want to start to be in the property business? Because, like I said, out of the 500 millionaires we interviewed this podcast, 1 out of 5 are property millionaires, and our listeners. They listen, they see so many people in property coming to the podcast, and they say, well, I want to be a millionaire. I want to start to do property. So, what message do you have for the young listeners that want to start into the property business?
Yeah, I would say for the young listeners, because I started out my career about 6 or 7 years ago now, start somewhere. Figure out what you want to do. It doesn't have to be where you want to end up in, say, 20 or 30 or 40 years after your career is done, because your career is going to pivot and shift, like I've already experienced. But starting somewhere in some avenue, whether it's in the real estate landscape, or industry, or tech or healthcare, whatever it may be, start and really try and learn all of the business, not just from a sales lens, but also try and learn it from an accounting, a finance, real estate specific property management lens. Try and learn all aspects of the business to really understand it long term.
If people are in love with this conversation, how people can find you, how this process works?
Yeah, absolutely. So people can reach out to me on our website. It's my last name, it's neurealestategroup.com, or they can call me directly. My number is 765-525-2161.
Okay, so thank you so much. And for our audience, like they want to invest and have a look at project in Indianapolis, please reach out to Alec, right? He can give you more details. Remember doing your due diligence
Yeah.
effectively, and and remember like we always said, the property there is a risk, but if we take risk, I think it's gonna be should be a very good asset. Especially, I like the duplex thing because I think the people can buy one and they can rent the other one and help them out with the setup of a structure for buyers to be attractive. I didn't know that Indianapolis was growing so much. There
Yeah.
was so much going on out there. Can you tell us a little bit more about this growth?
Yeah, so the entire skyline of Indianapolis is under construction. There's right now about, I think, 4 or 5 cranes in the sky. We're redeveloping our city center, our circle, is what it's called. We're redeveloping and expanding healthcare as well as our convention center, our hospitality side. So there's just in downtown through healthcare, through one of our largest healthcare networks or hospital networks. which is Indiana University Health. They're expanding a neuroscience center. So that's about a $5 billion project directly in the heart of Indianapolis. We're also expanding a lot of mixed use projects, which are expanding medical office footprints, as well as healthcare industries like Eli Lilly, who's one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world. They're out of a pool of $50 billion. And this is from Eli Lilly's CEO. They're placing a $10 billion manufacturing facility just outside the city of Indianapolis in a city called Lebanon. So that's under construction right now. That's their largest capital investment by Eli Lilly, which is exciting to see that happen right here in Indiana.
Wow, thank you so much, Alec. That has been amazing. Thank you so much for the podcast. And for all of you following on the Stable Podcast, you know, our next episode, how brave entrepreneurs like Alex break their goals and achieve the first make. Bye for now.
Thanks, Harry.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.